host of Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is John. So, John, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us what you do and where you live.
Sure. First, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Yeah, my name's Jon Martino. I'm the co-founder of a company called FuseLenses. We offer replacement options for existing sunglasses who, might happen to need a replacement, whether they're scratched or damaged. Is providing another option to our customers, an affordable option for that matter, versus going out and having to buy a whole nother pair of sunglasses. And we're based in Clearwater, Florida. And yeah, it was one of those things that there was just a need. We saw a need for it in the market, and there wasn't a whole lot of other options at the time. So, it was an idea that we had that kind of just started an entire company was able to be built around the single idea. So it's, pretty amazing how it was able to kind of take off.
So, early on, what were some of the challenges that you had with starting this business?
I mean, really the biggest hurdles, for us along the way were honestly probably hiring the right people. So when we started out, it was me and my co-founder, we basically, did everything. So once we realized that we couldn't do everything anymore, we had to find the right people to, help us in certain areas that maybe we, lacked a little bit of knowledge, or maybe just didn't have a full insight of, what needed to be done in a certain department. Hiring for us was a little bit tricky at first because we didn't really know what we needed. So I want to say we probably went the route of, just hiring, friends and family who needed, who were kind of in the market for a job, and not necessarily finding the right people to fit the position. That set us back quite a bit because we weren't, putting the right people at the right position. And I don't want to say it set us back, but it was definitely some learning curves there to, find not only, the right personality for the position, but to just take that little bit of extra time and effort, to make sure, you're finding the right people. And as soon as we figured that out, man, it made things so much smoother. And like I said, that was a huge struggle at first, for us, was just letting go of some of that control, that we had, and, trusting our staff to, kind of take the lead on certain projects, and to, really take ownership of, the position that we had available.
Cool. So, by the way, what's your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur?
Favorite aspect? That's a good question. Kind of a competitive guy, and I like to put people around me who have that same kind of competitive mentality. And not only that, I love being able to help young leaders become better leaders, and to kind of grow themselves. That's been the most fulfilling side for me, is being able to kind of bring somebody in at more of an entry level position. Like my lab manager, for example, he was one of, our first few hires, and kind of help, him progress into more of a leadership role, and to see the advancement he's been able to display. It's I've taken a lot of pride in, I've gotten a lot back from, being able to see the potential in people, maybe when they don't see it necessarily in themselves right off the bat. And then, we go 10 years down the road now, and this one of this, entry level employees is now managing 30 plus people under him, and he's got a whole department and a whole staff that, he's responsible for. So I would say that's probably at the top of the list for me, as far as being a business owner.
Cool, cool. So your industry is like more on the trends and following the trends. So what are your parameters that you follow to stay on the top of the trends?
Yeah, I mean, it's ever changing. That's probably been another struggle too, is, just trying to keep up, with everything that, kind of changes in the market. So when we first started, it was one product, and we knew just having one product, would only get us so far. So it was just constantly looking for the opportunities in the market where we could kind of branch out into and kind of slowly grow and evolve it in a way that, was still part of our core business, but also, constantly looking for avenues where we could improve. So one area of focus for as far as revenue stream goes has been, transitioning into sunglasses. So we've always been replacement lenses. Well, we said, well, we have a lot of these customers already coming to our site. What other products would make sense for that consumer who's already in the market for lenses? So, that kind of opened up a lot of options for us. So sunglasses has been a big one that we've, introduced within the last 3 years, and that's grown to about a third of the overall revenue. Offering a prescription option in lens replacements, that's been another big area that we've focused on, where not everybody, can see perfectly. And, there was a lot of opportunities there, mainly because that's my background. My background is running prescription optical labs. So it only made sense to, provide an option that kind of fit in line with my background, my expertise, what I was doing before I started, this company. So it's just keeping, looking for those little holes in the market and being able to, kind of be nimble enough to make those, additions to our product line and, add things where we see fit that kind of still stays in line with the brand and what our, vision is for it. So
Great. So I've seen your by the way, I have seen your website, and I was able to see I was able to find a lot of cool sunglasses as well. But I can see like you have a lot of products over there. So managing the stock of like a lot of products can be something challenging thing. And because you are using technology to sell the products, you're using website, you're using social media, all these things are helping you collectively. So do you think there is any hurdle, or there's any problem like that you are facing with your website, or maybe in fact with the technology? Because maybe there are a lot of sunglasses over there that that people are going to like, but managing the stock is also another problem. How you are managing the stock and keeping the stock updated on your website and on your social media platforms, all of these places looks like a
yeah,
challenge.
yeah, I mean, that would probably have been our second challenge that we faced, especially starting, was exactly that, was not only, the inventory side, but how do you manage that inventory? How do you, we sell on multiple channels. How is all that integrated in a way that, you can accurately, track what's moving where and
Yeah.
when? Um, it's taken a while to figure that out, to be honest, because as we, as like I said, we started with just the lenses, but we scaled that very quickly by adding different colors. So
Hmm.
like, when we started, it was really just a handful of colors, really easy to manage that, and then we grew the sunglass lens line. So I think we have close to 60 options right now. And a lot of those options are, tier based. So they do different things. They have different tech involved. When it came down to, not only solidifying the back end, it was also having the front end of our site be able to, work together and communicate a lot of our inventory flows through that, so that it was accurately, being maintained, and it turned into a full-time position. So
Hmm.
I was managing it from the start, and I knew that I needed somebody else because it was taking up too much of my day to day. And we were able to bring somebody in who had experience in the inventory world and managing it and effectively, communicating it across all channels. Once we made that hire for that, key individual to kind of come in and, take ownership of that department, it really made things just streamlined in a way that we just had full visibility, every single product, where it was listed, how many we had in stock, you know, that the accurate pull points based off of when that new order is getting put in, because that we were out of stock. I want to say our first maybe 5 years of business, we were out of stock on almost 50% of our SKUs throughout the year. It was just no matter what we did, we could not figure out the timing of when to when to put the new order in and when to pull the inventory down, because let's face it, nobody wants to take things out of stock. We were the same way. But at the same time, you don't want to oversell something that you don't have. So it was always this fine line of, okay, we need to make sure that, you know, this item is no longer available for sale at this moment in time. We need to keep a buffer inventory quantity and you know, that we could keep on hand for RMAs and things like that. So we've finally figured it out. But it's taken, man, it's probably taken every bit of 10 years to get to that point where everything finally all communicates across all channels, and we're able to really keep a close eye on every product category. Everything is based off of SKUs. We actually just introduced NetSuite. We're in the implementing phase right now, and that's going to really help us kind of keep everything cohesive across the board on inventory, because we pretty much had to build our own program to manage it, because we just couldn't find anything that could handle our SKU count. So we were able to kind of custom build our own platform where we did ran all of our POs out of it. We had everything kind of set up in the system, but eventually we outgrew it and we needed to figure out, you know, another way. So hopefully with NetSuite, we haven't actually got things rolled over yet, but we're in that implementing process. And based off what I've seen so far, it really seems like they're going to kind of help us get to that next level of inventory management.
Yeah, NetSuite is great. I've used it in the past. So in terms of technology, what other tools are you using, or what trends are you seeing in the industry? Have you used AI or thought about AI? Like, you know, what are you seeing, you know, when it comes to e-commerce in general?
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, you hear AI everywhere right now. Actually, one of our new top tier lens is called AMP, and it's a color enhanced lens. And that lens was actually developed with AI technology. We're able to provide a lens that makes every single color in the spectrum, you know, pop. And that tech wasn't possible a few years ago. We've been on the hunt for a lens that you, as soon as you put it on and as soon as you look through it, there's just this wow factor with it where it's like you just can instantly, you know, notice that there's something special happening. And it took us years to find that lens, and we stumbled across a lens manufacturer, and they kind of specialized in more of the tech side of lens manufacturing, and they were kind of at the forefront out of a lot of interesting new developments when it came to the enhancing of, you know, certain colors. And since we've made that, you know, leap and added that lens tier, it's turned into our top selling SKU. It's really made a huge difference. And not only, you know, adding that extra bit of value, it's giving us separation from our competition that they just haven't found that company that provided that tech in the lens, you know, developing side. One other area too that we're looking into is I mean, you've probably seen it a lot. It's an area that is going to help more on the sunglass side, but it's basically it's the try-on simulators that, you know, you can use your, you know, webcam, or you can use your phone, and it'll basically put that frame of the sunglasses on your face. So with that same tech, we're also able to get measurements that we can then use for the prescription side. So we're looking into several companies right now that offer this technology and this plugin that basically just plugs right into our Shopify store, and it's able to give us precise measurements that we would normally rely on the customer, you know, to provide, or we would have to then ask the customer to go to, you know, their eye doctor and get a bunch of extra information and just make more work for our customer. So we're constantly looking for ways to not only make the customer experience better, but if that means introducing new tech that can help us process orders faster, it can demonstrate what the lenses are going to look like in certain sunglasses. You know, those are probably the two big things at the top of our list right now as far as tech goes and how we've been able to utilize it.
Yeah, it will be great if you can get that try-on simulator in your website. I'll be able to see how it looks like on my face, because it's pretty much difficult for me to select select glasses for me.
Yeah. No,
Because
it is for a lot of people.
everyone is not gonna suit on my face.
Yeah, and one of the biggest questions that we get from customers is, well, why don't you have a picture of the frame that I'm looking at getting with those lenses in it? And it's like, I would love to be able to have the resources to do that. I mean, we're talking 5,000 SKUs that we would have to get thousands and thousands of pictures of. I mean, it's a lot. So this tech would help us be able to, now we're able to just digitize those frames. So we don't need to actually physically have the frames in our hands to take photos, to add all the lens options in. It's all done digitally. It's all done with the technology where they select, oh, I have this Oakley frame. They would, pick that frame. It'll actually put the frame on their face. And then now you can go through all of our lens options and see exactly how they're going to look in that frame on the customer's face. So,
Yeah.
these are all things that we've been working towards, and knowing that we've, there've been some gaps that we've been needing to fill on, the customer experience side. And now that tech is finally, caught up in certain areas in our business and in our industry, it's made things so much easier and so much higher of an experience on the customer's end, which is ultimately our top priority.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, right now the technology can help you, even as you said, like for the measurements. Even it can help you if you try on a glasses, you turn your face to left, it will tell you here. It can write, okay, this is the measurement from this area to your ear. So this sort of all these things are can be used in your try-on simulator. So
Yeah,
that would be a
and
great idea, by the way.
yeah, that it's something that we looked at a few months ago, and the tech was there. It was just it wasn't it we weren't able to get the measurements as well. So it was like it was there more for just looks. Well, just in a year, it's advanced enough to where that same sunglass simulator is now taking every accurate measurement that we need to make a prescription lens for a customer who on the other side of the world. You know what I mean? So like we don't actually need the customer in our retail location to do prescription lenses for them anymore. We can provide services, reasonable costs to customers wherever they are. And it's with a lot more people being comfortable shopping for eyewear online, it's really opened the door for us to just really expand this revenue stream that we put a lot of effort into, but we're looking for ways to just make it better and make it easier for the customer.
Yeah, indeed. No, because nowadays AI and at least when GPT launched, after this the word is changed, and now this is the word of AI and AR. It is gonna have obviously help your business a lot. So, do you think there is any other and anything else like more than AI? There's anything else that can help your business in the field of technology?
I'm sure there's stuff that's being developed that I don't even know about yet that I'm sure would help us out tremendously. Like I said, we're constantly challenging our managing team members to really focus on areas where tech can help us advance, and they can help us stay on top, and not only stay on top, but kind of be at the forefront a lot of industry changes, kind of really staying in the mix when it comes to advancements. And we challenge them on a regular basis to be open-minded about things that might seem like they're not necessarily going to be a good fit because nobody else has been brave enough to try it or test it yet. So that's definitely one area that we put a lot of emphasis on our leadership team, is empowering them to not only be aware of certain things that are shifting and different technology opportunities, but to not be afraid to bring stuff up when they see it, to kind of constantly be on the lookout for things that could help us and could, put us in a position for growth.
Sure. So you
Mm.
mentioned the NetSuite implementation. So outside of that, what would you say is your number one priority in the next 3 to 6 months?
For NetSuite or just in general?
Just in general. I mean, I guess like outside of NetSuite.
Sure. We set quarterly goals that really help kind of tie in all of our, objectives and tasks with each quarter's goals. So this quarter's focus has been to innovate. Like I said, we kind of challenge every department manager to look for ways that we can be innovating and look for ways that we can be not only, helping certain departments, rise to a higher level, but just kind of thinking outside the box in terms of where are opportunities that maybe we should be focusing on, but we haven't been focusing on. Or take, for example, we have a service where we provide the customer a shipping label, a box. If they're not comfortable installing their lenses, we'll handle that whole process. We're looking for ways to not only, provide additional services, but kind of address some of those concerns that our customers are having when it comes to being able to, handle their frame that, might cost $300-400. They're worried about taking out the old lenses and breaking the frame, and they're worried about putting the new lenses in. So we have an initiative to try to smooth out that process, and it's been an area where it's like, okay, how can we make this as easy as possible? So we came up with the idea of let's just send the customer everything they need for them to send us their frame. So we include the box, like I said, the shipping label. We even include the tape to seal the box. So, and even like we have a little foam envelope so that their frame is protected. We try to think of, multiple, friction areas that the customer could experience, smooth those out before they even realize it, and, offer a new service that has done really well. It's a service that we're constantly trying to improve. That was one area of focus where we saw that there were some issues where these customers, well, I don't have anything to ship my frame to you in. What do? I don't have, boxes laying around. All right, we're gonna send you a box. We're gonna cover the shipping both ways. So it's just looking for, like I said, just taking customer feedback and being able to not just be like, all right, yeah, good point. Thanks for the heads up, but actually do something, about it to where the customers in the future aren't going to run into that same issue. And that's really, something that, when it comes to innovating, that's one area that, that's just one service that we offer that we're constantly trying to, make better, and just really kind of put a lot of emphasis on what our customers are telling, because at the end of the day, if we're not keeping a track of that, you're eventually just not going to have any more customers. So we've made that our customer satisfaction pretty much stays at the top of every quarterly objective. Like I said, this particular quarter, it's all about innovating, and it's all about, what can we do to get better? What are some areas that we may be lacking that we can improve upon?
Sure. So I guess what is the one biggest piece of advice that you would give to any young and aspiring entrepreneur?
It really goes back to, for me personally, because I just remember so many setbacks we ran into when we first started. It's hiring. It's taking the time to just find the right people. Don't just hire who's ever looking for a job. I can think of 3 or 4 different instances of employees that we hired because, they were there, we needed them, we needed the help, and we just put them in those positions, and man, they were not the right fit for that position. And it hurt us. It set us back probably years because, we were taking the time to really find the right people. And, at the beginning phases of a company, it's crucial to have that solid foundation of employees and staff that you can rely on, that you can trust to kind of help, keep things on track when, you're not there. And that one would probably be, one of my top, pieces of advice. And then I think if I wanted to add one more, it would probably be, not bringing investors in too soon. I think I've seen a lot of companies, they try to they try to bring too many people in at the beginning, and it just adds a lot of extra stress, to not only the business owner, but the business itself. So I was able to, be in a position where I can kind of grow it organically. Never needed to bring on, you never need to get in debt, never needed to bring on a ton of outside, investments. And it just really, gave us a solid foundation to build on. And it, like I said, it helped us in a way that even now we're still able to benefit from. So like just really kind of, not making things more stressful than they have to be. I get it. Not everybody has that ability to kind of slowly grow it organically. But if you have an option to do it and you have a product you're passionate about, man, it'll just make the whole journey way easier.
That's awesome. So somebody watching this wanted to find you in your company. Do you mind sharing your website and your social media handle, how they could find your products?
Yeah, sure. FuseLenses.com is the website. Like I said, we have everything. Lenses are first, kind of on in your face first and foremost. But we also offer our replacement prescription lenses on that same site as well. Our sunglass options, which is growing. We're also on Facebook. We're kind of building a community on Facebook as well. Starting to see a lot of value in the community aspect of the marketing side of things. And FuseLenses.com is pretty much the handle for all of our socials. But yeah, I appreciate the time, guys. It's been fun.
Yeah. Awesome, John. Thank you so much for your time as well.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
See you too. All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.